Excuse me. This is the most psychologically disturbed character in the movie world.
While I was watching the movie, I was honestly fascinated by how insanely weird this character is, and at the same time terrified of what this person could do just to achieve his goals. There are so many things he does that are completely wrong, and he has absolutely no problem doing them, with zero guilt. And this is Lou Bloom from Nightcrawler. I know that you probably don't even know who this is actually, but come with me, let me introduce you to one of the most psychologically disturbed character ever shown on screen, and just how far this character illness goes, and what they're willing to do just to achieve their goals. And pay attention to the build-up. It starts slow, you getting to know the character at first, step by step, until you reach the end of the movie, where he starts doing things that will genuinely shock you.
We get introduced to him at the very beginning of the movie. He's trespassing on a site, stealing metal wires. A security guard stops him, and at the first you see him smiling at the guard, telling him he's just lost. Then he looks at the guard's hand and notices an expensive looking watch, so he attacks the guard, and in the very next scene we see him wearing that watch, walking away with the metal wires he stole. After that, he tries to make a deal with someone to sell the metal. Once they agree, he asks him about work, telling him he needs a job and wants to work with him. Now, I want you to really focus on him while he's talking. You will notice something. He barely blinks at all. If you actually watch his dialogue, he literally feels like a robot, like an alien who took a crash course of how humans are supposed to talk. Then after sitting there for about 10 minutes, he starts trying to explain to this guy why he should hire him. The guy tells him very simply, "I don't hire thieves." Now watch his reaction. He just smiles casually. It doesn't affect him psychologically at all. He doesn't even care about the outcome of what the guy just said. Instead, he learned something new. No one hires someone they know he's a thief. And from that moment, he starts thinking about something else he can do. After that, we see him walking down the street and he comes across a car accident on the road. He stops to watch and see the police trying to pull a woman out. Then the news cameraman arrives to film the accident. He stands there just observing them for a moment, then walks up and asks the cameraman, "Which TV channel will this be showing on?" And the cameraman tells him, "We sell it to whatever channel pays the most." So he looks at their van, noticing it's packed with camera equipment. He tells him this job must make a lot of money if it lets you afford all this gear. Later, he actually sees the accident footage airing on TV. That's when he starts thinking, and if you pay attention to what's happening behind him, you will notice someone parking a bike. Next thing you know, he steals it and goes to sell it. With that money, he buys a camera from the same place and a police radio, the kind that announces where accidents are happening. He decides to work as a crime accident videographer. So he sits there listening, waiting, then starts rushing out to film accidents. And I want you to really focus on him here. You will see he's basically a robot. No emotions, no reaction. Look at that scene. He's practically shoving the camera into the injured woman's face. He doesn't care at all. Or even look at the guy he's filming. The man is literally dying. It gets to the point where the police kicked him out of the scene. And he just stands there watching them, staring with these unsettling looks. At the same time, he watches the other cameraman, listens, records, and learns, until he finally goes to one of the news channels and offers them his footage as a freelancer videographer. And they actually buy it from him because he filmed a few shots up close and included some extra graphic bloody footage. They like it, and they really do buy it. The woman in charge of deciding what airs on that channel pays him and even advises him to buy a better equipment if he wants to keep going on this line of work. And pay attention here, you will notice something very important. She straight up says that people care about crimes involving rich people, especially white people, and even more so when those rich white people are harmed by minorities or poor people. This is literally a shortcut way to show how racist the media is. In general, all around the world, nobody really cares. Crimes involving minorities like black people aren't wanted in the news. The media doesn't want those stories. They want to focus more on on incidents where minorities are showing doing something wrong or committing a crime against a white person so they can blow it up and put it on TV because those stories are what actually bring reach, what get engagement from people. What matters here is that Lou is standing there, listening, learning from her, keeps thinking on his own and figuring out how to improve himself. I want you to pay attention to some details here because we will need them later to understand how his personality works. Watch him closely. He's ironing his clothes. Then he goes and waters the plant. At first glance, it looks like a scene that has absolutely no meaning, like it's pointless. But I want you to focus on this moment very carefully because they will matter later on. After that, he goes to a diner. He meets a young guy there. He looks poor, broke, and desperate, and Lou starts lying. He tells him that he used to have an employee who quit, and now he needs a new one to work with him. He actually gives the kid an interview. The kid looks nervous because you can just tell just by looking at him that he's basically homeless. So Lou manipulates him. He tells him he runs a big news company, that there is pay, just very low at first, but it will increase later. And the kid is insanely happy because, like I said, he's homeless and he sleeps on the streets. So he starts teaching the kid everything he learned over the past few days. They sit, listen, and wait for the right call. Finally, a building fire, a big incident. They move. They reach the location, but because of a mistake the kid makes, they arrive late. They can't film anything. Then they rush to another scene, a shooting. This time too, they arrive late. The police have already locked the place down. Filming is strictly forbidden. So what does he do? None of that stops him. He sneaks in. He breaks into the apartment and starts filming inside. Even rearranges the shots to better fit the drama he wants to create. After that, he goes and sells the footage to the news channel. They love it. Everyone except one guy who objects because Lou trespassed and filmed inside the house. But the woman in charge absolutely loves the video and decides to air it on TV anyway. Lou tells her that he really loves this job. After that, he starts working more, filming more, learning more. And up to this point, it looks like there aren't many problems. It almost feels like he's just a guy trying to be a decent member of society. But that's not the truth. Wait until the end, watch what he ends up doing. With the success he's having, he reaches a point where he can buy a car, a brand new fast car, and also gets newer, more advanced equipment. And from here, this is where things starts to take a turn. And this is where, little by little, his psychological disorders start to show. They hear about a hit-and-run accident. Someone gets struck by a car. He rushes to the scene and starts filming. He's the first one to arrive. He runs straight to the man lying on the ground, dying, and tries to film him. But then he realizes the image quality is bad. So what does he do? He grabs the man and drags him across the ground until he reaches a spot with a better light so he can get the shot properly. And look at his face after he gets the perfect shot. He literally has zero emotion, not a single trace of empathy. The police arrive and he just walks away like he didn't do anything at all. At the news station, they hand him the check with the money. The producer asks him, "Is that blood on your shirt?" He instantly changes the subject. No reaction at all. And asks her if they should go eat together at a restaurant. She looks again and says, "There's blood on your shoe too." He brushes it off completely, keeps going and tells her he wants to go out with her, that he wants there to be something between them. She refuses because she doesn't want to ruin the professional relationship they have. That's when his psychological illness becomes clear. He tells her then she's destroying their work relationship, a straight up threat. Then he lets out this awkward empty laugh. After that, they actually go out on a date and he tells her very clearly either she gets into a relationship with him or he'll stop selling her the footage he shoots, which means her performance rating will drop, especially since she's already not in the best position at that channel, and that will get her fired. They show you how selfish he is. He sees everyone around him as nothing more than tools for his desires, and nothing else matters. After that, the cameraman he saw at the beginning of the movie shows up again. He wants to collaborate with him and hire him for money, but he refuses, and they end up arguing. Later, they run into each other again at another incident. This time he can't film it because he arrived too late, so the other cameraman starts mocking him. And since he he failed to get the footage, the woman in charge at the channel gets into a fight with him because he had promised her that he would bring content that would help her to keep her job. So Lou completely loses control in front of a mirror, and that what pushes him early the next morning to go to the cameraman's car and cut the brakes. Later the same night, we see the cameraman get into a car accident. Lou rushes to the scene to film it, but then he does something disturbing. Even his assistant tells him, "Don't film this. These are people just like us." Lou responds coldly, "They are not like us anymore. They are just news footage I can sell." And he films with pure malice in his eyes, while the other man is dying, and the producer takes the footage afterward. Continuing with the disturbing things he does, he goes to a villa where a shooting just happened. He arrives before the police. He breaks into the place, hears gunshots, hides, and films the criminals while they are escaping. Then he enters the villa and starts filming the dead bodies with complete coldness. He leaves before the police arrive. Later, he watches the footage he shot, and he gets hit with that sense of grandiosity, almost intoxicated by how good the shots look, and he hands over the footage. She gets excited about it, even though what he's doing is morally wrong and legally wrong. Airing content like this shouldn't happen, but he still makes her pay $15,000 for the footage. And in that moment, he reveals himself a gay. He tells her from now on, every clip he brings in, the anchor on the channel must say his name and the name of the company he just created, Video Production News. But then, investigators show up because he broke into a crime scene. He gives them an edited version of the footage with the important shots removed, and he refuses to hand over the footage of the criminals. You will understand why later on. The investigators leave, and this is where we reach the biggest incident he commits in the entire movie. The moment that truly shows just how insane this character really is. He goes searching for the license plate of the criminal he filmed, and he actually figures out where they live. He goes to the guy's house and waited outside. Why? Because there is a $50,000 for anyone who helps locate this criminal. His assistant asks him, "So what are you planning to do now?" Now really understand his plan, so you can see just how little he cares about people. He wants to track the criminal until he reach a good location, then call the police on them. The police show up to arrest them, and of course, the criminals are armed. So they open fire on the police fire back, and one or two of the criminals might end up getting killed. At the same time, during the whole setup, he's hiding in the perfect spot, able to film everything. That way, he captures a huge incident and collects the $50,000 reward for being the one who located the criminals. So yeah, his mind is purely criminal. He moves people around like chess pieces. But it gets even worse. When the kid hears this plan, he's obviously terrified. So he asks for more money. He wants half of a $50,000. And of course, Lou would never agree to that. He tells him that kind of greed could get him fired. And that's when this kid is about to make the worst decision of his life. He threatens him, telling him if he doesn't give him half the money, he'll report him. Lou agrees on the surface, but he clearly doesn't like it at all. Look at his eyes. They are filled with pure malice. The kid gets happy, poor guy, thinking he's actually going to get the money. He tells him, "You really don't understand people at all." The kid keeps talking and Lou just stares unblinking. Now watch what happens next, because this is the literal insanity. The criminal walks out and Lou follows him. The kid is terrified, but Lou doesn't care. They keep telling the criminal until they reach a diner. That's when Lou calls the police and report this. "My name is Lou Bloom. I've located the criminals who committed the crime." He hangs up. The kid tells him, "They are inside a restaurant right now. There are people in there. If a shootout happens, a lot of people could die. You never said you were going to do this." Here, he shows his true self for the first time in front of the kid. He doesn't care at all about what the kid just did. He tells him, "Get out, go film them in front of the diner." The kid is terrified and obviously refuses. He says, "There is no way I'm going over there. There's going to be a gunfire. So Lou says, what if I told you my problem isn't that I don't understand people? No, no, no. What if I told you I simply don't like them and I'm fully capable of hurting you physically if you don't do exactly what I'm telling you? So the kid actually gets out of the car and goes to film in a clearly dangerous place. Lou stays in the car, waiting for the police to arrive, ready to film them killing each other. The police do arrive. They go in to arrest the criminals. And what actually happens? A shootout breaks out. Several people get injured at that location, and one of the criminals manages to escape in a car, and he chases after them just to film the whole spectacle he set up. He asks the kid, did you get them on camera? The kid answers, people died in there. And Lou laughs, genuinely happy. He keeps chasing them with the car, while forcing the kid at the same time to film the car chase. You see police cars crashing into civilians' cars, and Lou is ecstatic because all of this is great footage he can capture. He doesn't care about what's happening to the people. In the end, a police car slams into the criminal's car, and both of them flip over in the road. Lou gets out to film them. And now watch what he does next, because this is the moment that will send chills through your body. He tells the kid with him, the criminal is dead. Get out and film him now. So the kid jumps out fast to go film the criminal. And then the truth hits. The criminal wasn't dead at all. The criminal shoots him, and you see Lou standing a few steps behind, filming his assistant as he gets shot. Lou knew from the start that the criminal wasn't dead. He sent the kid to film him on purpose, so the criminal would kill him and Lou could capture the shot. After that, the criminal tries to escape. The police kill him, and at the same time was called Evil Eyes. Lou walks closer and films his assistant dying. The kid looks at him and says, you saw him. You saw him. He was alive, right? And Lou responds calmly, saying he can risk the success of his company with someone he longer trusts. So the kid tells him, you are insane. He tries to shock him, and the kid dies. Lou takes the camera from him and just walks away. He goes to the news station completely happy, joking around with everyone there in a great mood, like he didn't do anything at all. The woman is stunned by how incredible the footage is that he shot. After that, the investigators show up at the station and tell them not to air the footage. They said they need it because it's evidence for the police. There is an officer right now dying in the hospital. 4 people are already dead and 3 others are injured. And keep in mind, all of this happened because of what Lou did. The woman refuses to provide any information to the investigators, so they go and arrest Lou. Remember the plant he used to water? The one I told you to pay attention to? This is where it matters. The investigator asks him, how did you know they'd be at the diner? How did you know they were the criminals? And he answers completely cold. It all started when he was watering my plant that morning. Then he starts telling a whole story, a narrative he made up in his head. He even acts like he's emotionally affected by his assistant's death. But what's the point of the plant scene I told you to focus on? To me, that plant explained his entire character. It explains Lou. He's a sick, strange, unsettling person who's trying to act like a normal human being. He imitates humans. He copies how people behave in normal, everyday situation, just so he can convince others that he's one of them. That plant is his proof that he's normal. That's why it's the first thing he mentions, even though it has absolutely nothing to do with the crime. He says it just to tell her, look at me, I'm a normal human. I do normal things. I water my plant every morning. But that's not the truth at all. He's not normal. He's just mimicking humans, so they don't discover how deeply sick his mind really is. And of course, the investigator doesn't believe him. After that, he walks out feeling victorious, high on himself. In the final moment of the movie, we see a quick shot. His company has grown. He now has a whole team under him. Multiple cars, multiple cameramen working for him. He tells him to follow his orders and never hesitate. And to remember one very important thing. He will never ask them to do something he wouldn't do himself. For me, the thing that really hit me on a personal level is how twisted the media is, and how a psychologically disturbed person, a selfish person, someone with zero empathy can succeed so massively in a field like this. A field like media is disgusting, racist, and cruel. Plays with the news. It chooses who to shine a light on and who to completely ignore, especially in Western media. This field always needs crazy people, psychologically disturbed individuals, people with no emotions, because only people like that can lie so easily, manipulate without guilt, and doing whatever they want without being affected by it. That's it.
So if you made it to the end of the video, don't forget to like and subscribe and do all these stuff. It will help me a lot, bro. So we are now 236 subscribers. You can support me on PayPal, link in bio. And see you in the next video. Peace.